Well, hello you gorgeous mother truckers you, and welcome to another video. Now, you know, in the last few videos I've been talking about the fact that Starmer's struggling and that the Unite the Kingdom march has had a positive effect on many things. Again, exposing media lies and exposing leftist agendas, which of course is another hot button topic, especially after what happened to Charlie Kirk. Rest in peace, sir. Rest in peace. Now, the other thing that's more, I don't know whether people have noticed so much, is the fact that you're beginning to get people, media personalities, who have stopped singing from the approved narrative. Of course, famously, we had the Rylan Clark talk about illegal immigrants, which has, of course, cost him his job at ITV, because in reality, all he was saying was the actual truth. It's a truth that I think we all share. It's the fact that those people who come here, live here, work here, put into the system correctly, we have no issues with them, and we genuinely don't. Why would you have any issues with that? People who come into this country and respect this country's history and culture, that's absolutely fine. But of course, he said, but there are these people, and of course, you should all know the discussion he had there, and it just infuriated all the right people. And we all knew that as soon as he did that, that was Rylan Clark's career dissipation lighter going into overdrive. Well, I'm going to play you something from Trevor Phillips. Now, I've mentioned Trevor before, and you can see slowly but steadily Trevor's enlightenment, the realisation, or perhaps the understanding that he can no longer live the lie. And we'll just play it and we'll talk afterwards.
150,000 people crammed into central London, most carrying national flags, the Union Jack, the Cross of St George, even the Scottish saltire, protesting about immigration, about free speech, and about the decline of Christianity. There was some fearsome rhetoric, including from Elon Musk, who called for the overthrow of the British government. At the margins, there was some hooliganism. But I think that for those who oppose Robinson and his ilk, the most alarming aspect of the event was just how normal the vast majority of the marchers were. I spent an hour or two amongst them, and my own impression was that they were mostly the sort of people you'd meet in a country pub or in half-time queue for the loo at football or at a concert. There was a sprinkling of black and brown faces, and the event was brought to a close by a gospel group singing Jerusalem. All that must worry the traditional mass parties, Labour and Conservatives, now polling at less than 40% between them. They're draining support to parties like Reform and the Greens. And yet, a man recently out of jail, condemned as an extremist thug by most mainstream media outlets, can rally a demo the size of the entire population of Cambridge or Blackpool. A feat you couldn't imagine either Sir Keir Starmer or Kemi Badenoch.
I've downloaded that because it didn't take long for Sky to make sure that interview disappeared of anything to do with them. And you see, what you've got there is someone who a year ago would do what the media are doing now, which is the outrageous lies, the outrageous gaslighting. You get people, the communist, socialist, mad people. Like one, there's a picture of a video of an Asian woman, and she's sitting in a train station watching people walk past and wondering which ones are racist or not. Where in reality, no one even fucking knew she was there, because no one actually cares. It's like a lot of things. If you don't try and draw attention to it, or if you stop pretending there's a problem and actually just watch people, you will find that the vast majority of humanity just goes about its life not really giving a fuck about what you're doing or where you are, who you are, what you're from. It's only if you start getting in people's faces that it starts to become an issue. And that's just life in general, yeah? If the vast majority of society just gets along, does what it needs to do, says hello, be polite sometimes. I mean, that's something that I really don't get. I mean, I always say to anyone, morning, afternoon, hello, you all right? How's your day been? If I know them, just extend basic pleasantries. My favourite simple pleasantry is when I'm walking and if somebody looks at me, I just smile, or just give them a knowing nod or something like that, just to show that I've recognised that they're there, and it's just sometimes it can really brighten somebody's day. Well, that's reality. The reality is most people just want to get on with their lives. They don't want people constantly getting in their faces and telling them to do this, that and the other, or believe this, that and the other. They don't particularly like being called names and insulted all the time because you've got an issue with it, because 9 times out of 10 it's because that you've got that person's got an issue, whereas the vast majority of people don't care, couldn't give a monkeys. They just want to get on with their lives. Everything is good because that's how it works. But for somebody to go, well, actually, what I'm seeing here is, I saw these people go on this march, and it turns out that, they're actually quite nice. There wasn't a problem. They were very, very friendly. There wasn't no hint of aggression or anything like that, and everybody was friendly and everything was good. And it becomes, and this is where it becomes amazing, he said all that, and people are frowning on that. People are outraged by that. Oh, why is he saying that? Because he understands. He understands that people are just people. They're not trying to cause any trouble. They're not trying to be aggressive or anything like that. They're not out and out like they're being painted. People get painted so badly and treated so badly, and this is all to do with as I've said before, the dehumanisation of people. They're making people appear to be the personification of evil based on, somebody told me they were bad. I mean that literally is the level that it gets to. And Trevor's awakened to this and realised that all the things he's been told to say about people, to think about people. And I think this is a lot of people on the left in general now, because since Charlie's death, the mirror was held up, and people have suddenly realised that actually, you know what? Maybe I'm misjudging people. Maybe that person isn't as bad as they say. You see all these videos coming out where people are being interviewed while they were there, and they're black and they're Asian, and they're Muslims and they're Hindus and they're Christians and they're Sikhs, and all of this. And it just blows their narrative apart. Now, will Trevor have a job? Very much doubt it. But as I said, this is the last hill. We have nowhere else to retreat to. This is the hill we have to fight for. We have to fight on this hill. And if we have to die for it, we have to die for it. And it's coming to that realisation that we may have to. You're all fully aware of how Charlie's death affected me. But the one thing I saw was a man who knew what was going to happen, yet carried on. You see, the definition of brave isn't, a gung-ho hero. It's a person who, despite the fear, steps forward to do the job. And that's what we all got to do. We all need to step forward. We all, with the knowledge and the fear that it may happen. I have, I've got 7 kids and 3 grandkids. And I don't want ever them to say, Dad, Granddad, what did you do? And I can't, I sat on my settee and moaned about it. Well, what else did you do? Oh, that was it. But I can say is, and what they know, because they see it, is Granddad, Dad, stood his ground. He put himself out there on the internet for all to see, no masks on me, and spoke the truth. And tried. Really tried. Any case, enough of that. Ways to support the channel down below. If you like what I do and you agree with what I say, you just hit that subscribe button. You can like, you can share. The like really helps. Lots of likes causes the algorithm to push the video out to more and more people. I am actually due, because I've figured it out now. I have a cycle where I'll have 3 or 4 videos that do really, really well, and then all of a sudden no one gets to see my videos, and then all of a sudden because it's a form of suppression. That's exactly what it is. But the likes help break that. So I'll catch you in the next one.
You say to me that you can't